This is Matthew Cratter from Trade University, and today I want to talk about how crypto exchanges can steal your coins, can steal your cryptocurrencies. We've already talked about in the past how Ethereum has these shady origins that involve various large Wall Street banks like JP Morgan. And then yesterday I put forth a hypothesis about how BlackRock could take over Ethereum and control it using their cheap financing from the Fed. And we talked a little bit about proof of stake. Proof of stake is the opposite of proof of work. Bitcoin runs on proof of work. Protocols like Ethereum are in the process of moving from proof of work to proof of stake. The problem with proof of stake is the more money or coins you have, the more control you have over the monetary system. This is just not true with proof of work. And this is the problem with this is it undermines the whole point of the crypto revolution, the Bitcoin revolution, which is to create a fair financial system. Proof of stake just reinvents something that looks a lot like the fiat financial system, where you have privileged people closer to the money printers. Under proof of stake, as I said yesterday, large crypto exchanges and large institutional investors like Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Vanguard, etc., can collude to take over a protocol. And I got a lot of comments saying, oh, this will never happen. This is just Bitcoin maxi FUD. And so I want to talk about how it can actually happen. But before I do that, if you're finding this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. So we're going to talk about Steemit. Steemit is a blockchain-based blogging and social media website. So you have Steem, which is the actual blockchain and network, what that's called. You have Steem with capital letters, which is the token or the coin you can earn from this platform or that you can trade. And then we have Steemit itself, the blogging platform that's built on top of Steem. So the biggest problem with Steem, or one of the many problems besides, of course, the pre-mine and everything, is that its consensus mechanism is a form of proof of stake. It's what's called DPoS, or delegated proof of stake. So instead of miners like you have in Bitcoin or a proof of work system, you have something that are called witnesses who help to secure the network in the same way that miners secure the network. These witnesses, I think there are only like 20 of them in Steem, so it's already kind of an oligarchic structure. But these witnesses are chosen, you might even say elected, by people who hold Steem tokens. The more Steem tokens that you hold, the more weight your vote carries. Basically, you delegate your tokens by staking them with a witness, and the witnesses with the most tokens get to validate the blocks. In other words, this is a very, very clear example of the more money you have within the system, the more control you have over the monetary system. This is what proof of stake always looks like. And I want to show you how it can really devolve into chaos and corruption. Problem is, people are lazy. They leave their crypto sitting on exchanges, which gives these exchanges like Coinbase and Gemini and Kraken and Binance, it gives them a lot of power. And in the case of delegated proof of stake, it gives these crypto exchanges the power to vote for witnesses. And their votes get to carry a lot of weight since they are holding a lot of Steem on behalf of their exchange customers. So this is what happened. We had a few of these centralized crypto exchanges, Binance, Poloniex, and Huobi. They used customer funds, in other words, Steem that was being left on the exchange, to help Justin Sun, founder of Tron, to take over the Steem network. This is something that actually happened, and people have very, very short memories. This happened in 2020, just a few years ago. So what they did is they colluded with Justin Sun to push through a hard fork that confiscated the coins, the Steem tokens, of anyone who opposed Justin Sun. There was a list of these people who were trying to rise up against Justin Sun. There was an internal list, and these were the ones who had their Steem seized. All in all, about $5 million worth of Steem was seized by the network from its own holders through a hard fork. This actually happened. What happened is Huobi, Binance, and Poloniex, they staked their Steem with a single user at Dev365, which we now know was controlled by Justin Sun. So they delegated all their power to this one user. This is what you can do in delegated proof of stake. This is one of the failure modes of delegated proof of stake. And then they basically did revenge on all the people who opposed Justin Sun. So it was sort of an internal revolution. Now, the good news is that Steem, throughout this whole process, was very ESG compliant and friendly and very carbon neutral. So we're happy for them for that. The bad news is it turns out Steem's private property and security guarantees proved to be much, much worse than even holding US dollars or other fiat. You basically had a crypto dictator come through, Justin Sun, and do revenge on all the people he didn't like who opposed him. This is one reason proof of stake is always far inferior to proof of work. This kind of takeover can never happen with proof of work. If you don't understand that, watch yesterday's video, which I'll link to below, the one about BlackRock, where I talk a little bit about the New York agreement, where all the Bitcoin miners teamed up with all the big Bitcoin companies in the space, like Grayscale and Coinbase, and tried to push through a change to the code that would have created larger blocks. This was called the SegWit 2x hard fork. It never happened because it turns out that under proof of work, the more miners you control and the more coins you have does not give you any control, any excess control over the network. If this were true, this coup by the New York agreement coalition would have gone through. Instead, it failed. It was defeated by all the Bitcoin full nodes. Again, it doesn't cost anything to run a Bitcoin full node. You just download the software on an old laptop. So this is it's a very different system. Proof of stake always devolves into collusion, vote buying, cartels, and Steem is a really great example of that. It ended up destroying the protocol. The market cap, the total market cap of Steem is quite tiny for a cryptocurrency. It's $136 million. And if we look at a chart of how Steem has performed since over its lifetime, and especially since the Justin Sun attack, this is a chart of Steem versus Bitcoin. If the chart's moving up, that means Steem is strengthening against Bitcoin. If the chart is moving down, it means that Steem is weakening against Bitcoin. And this has been another case where Bitcoin has completely eaten Steem. We can see here the events in March 2020 and how we're trading lower in Bitcoin terms since then, in spite of a very strong crypto bull market. So when you hear about Ethereum moving to proof of stake and how wonderful it's going to be and how it's going to be all rainbows and unicorns and how Ethereum is going to flip in Bitcoin in the process, I want you to remember the sad history of Steem and what always happens with proof of stake. In this case, it was delegated proof of stake, but the same thing can happen with regular proof of stake. And this is one reason the exchanges and the large actors and the large whales who were given or purchased a lot of Ethereum in the pre-mine, this is why they're all in favor of moving from proof of work to proof of stake. It'll give them more control and it'll basically cement their position forever. Because if you own 5% of the Ethereum supply and you stake it, you're guaranteed to always get paid 5% of the awards, the blockchain, the block rewards. This is not something that happens with proof of work, which is much more competitive, much more entrepreneurial. There's always a changing group of miners because it's a very difficult thing to do. Whereas you end up with these almost like nobility or cartels with proof of stake, where the rich get to stay richer and get richer just by doing nothing, just by staking their coins. Of course, Ethereum, we now know the merge, in other words, the move to proof of stake, which was supposed to happen in June, is now been pushed forward. And there may be people at Ethereum who understand what a disastrous move this could be. There have been predictions that Ethereum would move to proof of stake every year ever since Ethereum started. So here's a prediction from 2018 saying this is the year that Ethereum moves from proof of work to proof of stake. I think it probably does eventually make it to proof of stake, and it's not at all clear that this will be a good thing for Ethereum holders. If someone in the cartel doesn't like your politics, they don't like something you said on social media, there may be a move. If they think you're not ESG enough, there certainly could be a move to do something similar to what happened with Steem and to confiscate your coins. So if you're an Ethereum holder, if you leave your coins on exchanges, if you own any proof of stake or delegated proof of stake coins, I seriously don't know how you sleep at night. This is proof of stake is a very, very fragile system, and it can collapse very quickly in real time. This is also a good reminder. We heard this morning that Elon Musk is trying to take Twitter private, trying to buy the whole company. And we just saw that Justin Sun upped his bid to try to bid above Elon Musk. This would be disastrous for Twitter to have someone like Justin Sun in charge. You can debate what it'd be like having Elon Musk in charge, but I would definitely choose him over someone like Justin Sun, who has a very, very shady history. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.